This is Adrian Warnock's Christian Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Okay, hi there everyone. I might just give it a second to see if anyone joins. Although I often find that more people watch these kind of things after they've been shared. But anyway, welcome today. I just thought I'd talk a little bit about lockdown again. And to be honest, this is partly because I want to try out my new microphone and new headset. So let me know if you think this sounds better than some of my recent posts. Or videos, I should say. I've done some videos recently and I've quite enjoyed them. Interviewed the people behind the excellent Soul Time app, but also the guy behind the Christian meditation, Christian mindfulness website. Both things that I've found personally quite helpful during this time of lockdown. I don't know about you, but for me, one of the things that really having this enforced time at home has given me a bit more time to focus, in theory at least, on spending time with God. Now, maybe that's been really easy for you, or maybe that's been really hard for you. It's not something that's traditionally I've been particularly good at, I must admit. But I would say that during this time, it's kind of like the excuses are taken away, really, isn't it? I mean, what else can we do? Well, I suppose we can watch Netflix, and I must admit I've done a lot of that, or Disney Plus, or even Apple TV, or BBC iPlayer, or all of these other different ways to distract ourselves. And there's a place for that, and there's a place for having a rest and having a break. But there's also surely a place for, upping our content, if you like, of God stuff. And I've certainly tried to do that, not just by watching the online services. And did you know, by the way, that 1 in 4 British people have attended an online service since the lockdown? I mean, that's an amazing statistic right there. That and the recent video blessing that's been recorded by the churches just over the weekend has really encouraged my heart a little bit. And there is this sense that God is somehow at work in amongst it all. And of course, that's true in our own lives as well. When we're facing suffering, God works. And one of the things I talked about in my most recent post, which is on prayer, and it's about whether we should be praying for our own will or God's will. And the ultimate prayer, perhaps the greatest prayer of all time, was a very simple prayer that Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane when he was facing suffering far greater than what we're experiencing now, far greater than just being shut up at home or even than getting sick, because he faced the wrath of God for your sin and for my sin. He faced being separated from God for eternity, well, not for eternity, but as an eternal feeling, if you like, on that cross, taking our eternal punishment in a moment, the intensity of that moment. And as he looked at that moment that was still to come, everything within his mind and within his body cried out, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And maybe that's how you're feeling right now. I don't want to be at home. I want to be out doing things. I don't want to be sick. I certainly don't want to be suffering. And if, of course, you've experienced the sorrow of loss at this time, then you will be grieving and saying, I don't want to be grieving. And yet, somehow in the midst of it all, Jesus knew that his suffering would be worked out for our ultimate good. And actually your suffering in some mysterious way, as R.T. Kendall highlighted in a sermon at Jubilee Church just before the lockdown started, actually we can somehow make up what's lacking in Jesus' suffering. Our suffering can somehow bless others through what God does in us and through us as a result of suffering. And so, brothers and sisters, I would encourage you, and I don't want to spend long in this video, but I would encourage you, maybe have a look at what I wrote today. I don't claim to be an expert in prayer, but Jesus was, and I pointed us to his example and to his desire that we would turn prayer not into a shopping list, and I think we've all had prayers like this where we come to God with a list of things we want, nor, of course, into worrying out loud. And we've all done that as well, where we've basically been shown to God that we're worried, and we've said, God, please don't let this happen. Please don't let that happen. Please don't let the next thing happen. And it really is just worrying out loud. God doesn't want our prayers to be like that. He wants our prayers to be seeking his will, Not my will, but yours be done, said Jesus. And that's his encouragement to us. Oh, hello, Tina. Nice to see you watching from New Zealand. I've been enjoying some of your articles on Facebook about lockdown over there. And congratulations to New Zealand, who seem to be leading the way a little bit in hopefully eradicating this jolly virus. But lovely to see you, and all the best to you. Now, I'm just wondering if anyone else is going to pop up and say hello. I know there's a few people watching, but if anyone's got any questions or thoughts, how have you found praying helpful? For me, I found meditation, and some of these meditation apps can be particularly useful, especially at a time of great worry and anxiety, to calm your mind and to focus it on Jesus, and also just listening to worship music. I don't know about you, but I do miss the worship times in church. You can listen to sermons at home, but you can also listen to worship. But it's important to try and actually enter into that worship as well. And I've listened to a number of worship songs on my Spotify playlist and such like over this time to try and reconnect to God. And that's our challenge, isn't it? To connect to God at this time. Who's just put their thumb up? Who's got a question for me or comment? What have you found helpful in seeking God at this time? If you can't think of anything to say right now as you're watching this, maybe in the comments section below here on Facebook or wherever you're following on this, you might be able to add some thoughts and some suggestions about our prayer times at this time, when we must be praying that God has his will done in our lives and through our lives, even at this time when we're locked down. Well, thanks everybody, and I think on that I will leave it. Don't want to make this too long. I know you've got loads of other things to watch on Facebook, I'm quite sure. Bye then. Well, you've made it to the end of an episode of Adrian Warnock's Christian podcast. You must have some stamina. Well done. And if you liked what you heard, you know what to do. Subscribe, review, tell all your friends about it. And in the meantime, why not visit adrianwarnock.com.